Good afternoon. How are you all doing? It is a sizzling hot Friday. What are your plans for this weekend? I'm sure it's going to be something fun, water related or otherwise. Either way, you're going to have a good time. I decided I wanted to do a video today and I would like to name it What is the Right Thing to Do? Do you know what to do if you have a friend or loved one in trouble? Do you really know what to do? When you have a friend having financial problems, you may tell them the address, name of a resource. If they're not eligible for the resource, you may provide the financial assistance. If it's someone you don't know too well, you may just give them a referral to someone who may be able to assist them. If you meet someone they're hungry, you may give them the money to buy the food or buy them something from a restaurant, bring it back to them, give them a gift card to a grocery store, or you may find other means and ways to give them food. Because at some point in your life, you've known what it's like to be hungry. Maybe it was within your control or outside of your control. So things we know what it feel like to have experience, more likely to assist in those areas. But if we're not familiar with certain situations and circumstances, we don't know how to help. We simply don't. Some areas of our lives we're simply ill equipped collectively or individually. Now, I want to talk about something because I don't know how to help. One of the things that you will receive the least amount of help navigating in this life, it is death. Most people living and breathing, walking around, do not know how to help someone when they're grieving. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to do, what efforts they may want to try. They often feel like they're inadequate and insufficient to assist someone in that type of pain that may be unfamiliar to them. The grieving process causes so many different symptoms. It's easier to say they're grieving instead of picking out each one of the symptoms of grief one by one. For instance, since losing my dad, I've gained 27 pounds, and we're not even at year 2 yet. I've and mind you, I'm a person well versed, understanding of the mind, mental health, psychology, you name it. I've done it, parchment for it, right? But it's different when it's happening to you and you're in it and you don't realize the symptom until you look and see the consequences of trying to keep going with something that ultimately you do have to navigate on your own as an individual. That's not something you can even do with the collective of your family because piece by piece, we all branch off to deal with it individually the best way we can. Because I shared how grief has changed my life. 27 pounds in less than 2 years. Because my body, my mind is trying to find a way to soothe itself from the reality that both of my parents are gone now. And that's tough. So why am I mentioning this? This isn't about me, but I decided to use myself and my reality as a point of reference and an example how people do things that are so uncommon for them when they're in an indescribable amount of pain. The other person I'm going to use as a point of reference, it is Kev on stage. I noticed very quickly after losing his brother that he was in trouble. It was very easy for me to identify because I could see it. I watched Jason's services his brother's funeral services. I watched it. And even during it, you could see he was in this place of, I'm responsible. I got to take care of it. It's my brother. No one else would do it to that standard to truly celebrate him. So he was still in this micromanaging place, but it wasn't micromanaging. It is his insistence to love him with everything that is in him to the very best of his ability. And that means pausing the moments of being in tears, the moments of being broken, and expressing it verbally or physically. And I've been through that. So that's how I was able to identify it. I've done the exact same thing twice for both of my parents. It never fails. And not only that, it's a situation where in my family, when certain things have to be done, I'm the person everybody shifts it to, and I don't want it, but they shift it. It just happens, right? And then what you do is you end up carrying out whatever, everything with a spirit of excellence and everything, and that is your another way of expressing your love and devotion for a person. After that, one day, I guess they were doing like a clip or something like that, and they were at these studios. Kev on stage has done amazing things. He has his own production company. He has his own studios in California, and I've been watching them since they were in that little apartment with the brown sofas, and my children were in elementary school. That's how long I've been tracking the Fredrickson family and supporting them. And that little clip I saw, it was a short. They were getting out of the cars and everything, and I saw 2 bottles. I saw one was a Jimmy Walker bottle, and I forgot the name of the other liquor, but it caught my eye and my heart sank, and I dismissed it as, he's still grieving. He missed his brother. He may be, drinking a little bit right now. And then I started seeing his content change. His heart just wasn't in his work anymore. I was seeing what the grief was doing to him. It's he's consumed by it. He's consumed by his pain. So even when I wanted to reach out and ask him about how are, his nieces and nephews doing, or asking him, how are you doing? I just didn't, because I didn't want to, even in the comment section, evoke something that causes him more pain, because I could identify his pain and how overwhelming it was for him. So instead, I was praying for him, but at the same time, praying that the alcohol doesn't consume his life, because it's such a tricky, dangerous thing, right? When the enemy definitely wants to wipe him off the board because of how he started. God blessed him, everything God did, and that was his whole thing, being a church boy, church kid from a holiness family and understanding it, right? Then I saw a video he did, and I guess it's supposed to be in a clip or something. And he was in his closet and he had on a wife beater, and you could look at him and it was very clear he was drunk in the video. And I just, again, my heart sank. And yesterday is what led me to doing this video and really thinking. Yesterday, there was a girl that did a video, and she's from South Carolina, and she does a lot of videos about being from the country in South Carolina and all of this. And she said that she saw Kev on stage out buying beer. Now, while she's doing this comedy thing about nobody like beer, you have to be down bad or whatever to buy beer. She's been a bartender for 14 to 16 years, and nobody drinks beer, nobody likes beer. And I read the comments, and everybody just laughing, 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 and no one seems to remember that this is a man of faith. This is a man of faith. This is a family of faith, right? You have the beautiful 2 boys. You have the beautiful wife, Melissa, and you have Kev. And this family is going through something right now to see their dad now in a totally different space to the point now he's drinking. That's something totally uncommon to this family, especially to this degree. And why am I having this conversation? How do we help when we see someone hurting? How do we help? How do we show compassion to them? How do we show grace to them? And it's not enough to say, I'll just be praying for you. I just feel like he need one of those hugs that my mom used to give people. It was the most powerful thing. You will see that she could hug you and there would be an exchange take place, or she could shake your hand and an exchange would take place. Like you would be tremendously heavy and burdened and downtrodden, and literally she could hug you and you would see almost like a transformation or a transaction happen where something was pulled off of you. Like you could literally see it in their countenance. Something was literally pulled off of them that was like a weighted blanket on their very being. And you see this thing happen. This love envelops them. This compassion envelops them, and grace and all of this maternal love just envelops them. It literally envelops them from the outside and going all the way into the deepest crevices of their being, and it snatches something out of them, and they totally different by the time she's done hugging you. But it's like I felt like he needed someone. He needs someone literally that can just grab him, not grab him and shake him, but grab him, envelop him with mercy, kindness, grace, and comfort. Um, People say words of comfort, but Christ said that the Holy Spirit would be our comforter. And people grieving, they're looking for comfort, not to be comfortable. They're looking for comfort, respite from pain and sorrow. And those two are so different than anger, pain and sorrow. And I understand over time it lessens, it changes, but you're on autopilot, so you don't even know how to stop it or when it's going to end or how to stop it. You don't know how to. And I just feel like it was astounding to me. People forgot his whole testimony. They forgot about the whole man, how his work has been a joy to so many believers and made Black Christians feel seen, understood, the humor in our Black families, the humor in our Black ministries, the humor in how we express our faith, the things that we all identify in some shape, form, or fashion as how God used him. Before there were any of these other content creators in Black Christian spaces, there was Kev on stage. Remembering when he first got his first stand up, remembering when they went out on tour, him, his brother, and their friend. I think his friend name was Twan or Antoine or something like that, the guy with the glasses, and remembering how they were just doing stuff out of the house, and remembering when they moved to California, remembering that he was a military brat and his daddy was in the army, remembering how young he and Melissa were when they got married, remembering the whole man, and feeling sad that he's grieving, but also sad that he's hurting, and everybody just laughing about it. They're just not thinking about the person as a living, breathing soul navigating something we will all encounter at some point in our lives. And it goes back to that question of how do we help? It doesn't help us just to have conversations to say, oh, look what happened. Oh, look what I saw. Did y'all hear? Did you? That doesn't heal anybody. That doesn't restore anybody. that doesn't cover anybody, that doesn't love anyone. It just doesn't. And I read and I read and I read those comments, and I just kept going, and I was looking not for the comment of shame of he Christian, he don't supposed to be. I'm not looking for that comment. I'm looking for the comment that caught their attention, that my God in Zion, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. And I understand as leaders, and this is the drawback of leadership, or the drawback of being a highly visible person. This is the drawback that most people don't know about or even consider. You can't rely on those who are inspired, empowered by you to cover you. We know that. Very few of them will pray for your well-being and pray for your success because they're receiving from you, right? So they see you in a high regard. So you can't go to them. It's unnatural even if you tried to. That's why you can't turn a leadership dynamic into a friendship. It's not going to work. You have to stay within those boundaries. You maybe get close, but there are still boundaries there, right? And it's almost an isolating experience because the most vulnerable sacred places and spaces of yourself, you will only be able to share that with specific people. It won't even be all of your relatives. It will not be all of your friends. The numbers get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And because of that, you feel isolated, right? So it's something most people are not aware of. You have more eyeballs on you, but you have less hands with you. You have less prayers with you. You have less, uh, it's a different dynamic. Everything you network, everything you do, it's about the money. I mean, no, they're not saying it outwardly, but those relationships about, prosperity, investment, building something that will, generate revenue, income, and so if you lose those relationships would go away. You get what I'm saying? You're not coming into situations with capital, strategies, ideas, resources, time, something that's like, hey, you have no reason to be in my space or my face. And that's true. That's just the nature of it, right? And so those very intimate places of where you have to show up with heart currency, spiritual currency, emotional currency, intellectual currency, and an exchange need to take place to be able to help someone. It's very smaller. The bigger you get, the smaller the number of people are to help you in that capacity because they're hurting too. We could say, well, he has his wife. You have to remember, she's hurting too. That's her brother-in-law, right? She has to support her mother-in-law. Her mother lost her son. It's a whole family. So the way they would normally help each other, it's not going to function that same way because they're all grieving the same person. They're all directly impacted, every one of them, right? So that makes it even smaller. Then you have people who heavily rely on him, from employees and all. You get what I'm saying? Hold on one second. Um, you have all of these people who depend on him, right? And so because of that, he's drowning. He's floating, but he's drowning at the same time. And so I did this video to ask, how do we help not only him but others, because I would like to help, and I need my own type of help. You get what I'm saying? I do have a good support system, but I still notice, um I've even noticed with some of my older, relationships I've had for many years. We've been friends some of us since elementary school, middle school, some post college and everything. And I'm noticing as time has evolved, A lot of us are still tight, but the dynamic is different in the sense of their regard for me is now shifting to a person they rely on, they depend on, and it frustrates me sometimes because I'm like, "Oh my god, do not turn into one of them. I cannot afford to for you to turn into one of them. Like, please don't." You get what I'm saying? Like, please don't turn into one of them. And because I can't afford for that dynamic so close to me to change. I wouldn't be able to handle that, and I'm not handling it well. And it's the strangest thing because for some of them, I know for three of them particularly that I'm thinking of, the way I managed, handled my divorce has led to them having this perception of me that leads to them relying on me and being admiring it. But now it's a different type of, I need this type of advice from you. I need to understand it from you. And they don't understand that's not something I want to teach. That's something I had to endure, right? And so when people see you overcome certain things, endure certain things, they want to learn. They want to know the how, what, when, where, they want to know it. And they don't understand that I'm sorry, you probably don't understand what I'm trying to say, but it changed the dynamic, for some of them. And it's kind of an attitude for me. I don't need my friends to look up to me. I don't need my friends to admire me. I don't want that. I don't want that from you. I don't need that from you. And when that starts, I don't like it. I need you to remember I'm still baseline. I'm still me all day, every day. That would never change. And sometimes with the success comes those relationships closest to you change too. Um, and it's tough. It's tough. So how do we help? How do we help? How do we help? Especially when you're honest enough to say, hey, I've eaten myself to 27 pounds, or hey, I'm drinking and doing things I normally wouldn't do because I can't deal with this. I can't handle this. So, how do we help? And I can't tell you grief counseling for the most part. I just feel like from what I've experienced, it's a ripoff. You leave more pissed off than anything else because it's like we absolutely positively didn't accomplish anything. We did not. And I'm very funny with my time. Time is money. And I could have been doing something else. That's just how I felt about it. Like you getting paid $150 and you an hour and you have done absolutely positively nothing. You have not accomplished anything with anything. You don't know what you're doing, so you end up mad. You so it goes back to the question. How do we help? How do we help when someone's drowning? Even if you don't know how to swim, you know how life vest works. You know how to throw the little buoy thing out there, the life preserver. Even if we don't know how to swim, we still can find a way to help. So how do we help now? I look forward to read your responses. I thank you for so much for your comments, and I thank you for listening, and I thank you for who you are. I look forward to reading your comments. Have a good day. Bye.